Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. And today we have two composers and one artist, and one of the composers and the artist have the same name. But we'll get to that momentarily. We begin with Sullivan, Sir Arthur Sullivan. Oh, this is just so much fun. Sullivan was England's greatest composer in the 19th century, probably England's greatest composer, period. We had a big fight about that. I know some of you said, no, it's Vaughan Williams. Well, yeah, I can accept that, at least in the 20th century, but Sullivan was England's greatest composer before Vaughan Williams, and he might have been as great as Vaughan Williams. Certainly in terms of popularity, he's greater than anybody, and deservedly so. And, you know, that counts for something. Anyway, what have we got here? We've got some wacky things. We've got Pineapple Paul, conducted by Charles Mackerras, who assembled the the ballet. It's a ballet based on bits of Gilbert and Sullivan, including some of the lesser-known Gilbert and Sullivan things. So you hear some popular tunes that you know and some things that you don't, and it's delightful, absolutely delightful. Mackerras recorded it several times, and I hope it brought him lots of money. He deserved it. And we also get him doing 4 of the Savoy Opera overtures: the Yeoman of the Guard, Ruddigore, the Mikado, and Iolanthe. Iolanthe is just a great opera. You know, it doesn't get as much cred as some of the other big ones, but it's one of the great ones. And Iolanthe has some of the best lyrics that Sullivan ever wrote. You know, for the entry of the peers, from the House of Lords. Bow, bow, ye lower middle classes, bow, bow, ye tradesmen, bow, ye masses, blow the trumpets, bang the brasses, tantarantara, chin boom. It's just the most fabulous puncturing of pretension of the political class. We could really use that today. Let me tell you, they should be. I'm telling you something. When we swear in the new Congress, they should be required to either sing that chorus or watch somebody sing that chorus. We are peers of high estation, pillars of the British nation, paragons of legislation. I mean, oh my God, it's fabulous. Anyway, so there we have that one. And then we've got, let's see, what else have we got? Oh, another Pineapple Paul with the Irish Symphony on Naxos with David Lloyd-Jones and the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Of course, you want to have Mackerras conducting his own stuff, but this is quite nicely done. And it's wonderful to know that this ballet has an independent existence in the hands of others. So those are great. And then we have an unbelievable comic opera, The Rose of Persia. This is Sullivan without Gilbert. It's written by Basil Hood. So there you go. You know, he did a bunch of things without Gilbert. They're not so well known. This is on CPO with the Hanover Band under Tom Higgins. And you also get 6 overtures: the Overture to Ballo, Pinafore, Pirates, Mikado, Yeoman, and Macbeth. Macbeth? Yes, he did a Macbeth. So there you go. I mean, some interesting stuff by Sullivan. And if you like his comic operas, you'll enjoy hearing this. Is it as great as the ones with Gilbert? Nah, not really, but it's still awfully fun and just terrific. So that's Sullivan. Now, the other 2 people that we're dealing with belong to the Suk family, the Josef Suks family. Josef Suks, who was Dvorak's son-in-law, the composer, and Josef Suks, the violinist, who was Dvorak's great-grandson. He was the grandson of the composer Josef Suks. So we've got lots of sucking to do here. And this is a disc involving the violinist, which I just have stuck under the artist rather than the performer, because it's a wonderful, super fun archive disc. It won the Grand Prix du Disque de l'Académie Charles Cros for tracks 1 through 7. It had Janáček, Debussy, and Poulenc violin sonatas. It's just wonderful, with Jan Panenka, of course, his usual piano partner. Josef Suks was just a great, sensitive, fabulous artist. And you also get the Jaroslav Ježek violin sonata for violin and piano from 1923, added as a special extra super-duper bonus. So this I keep under the violinist, so I know where to find it. It's actually kind of an easy way to do it. And then I've got a big pile of great-grandpa Suk, or grandfather Suk, granddaddy Suk. Great-grandpa was Dvorak. Yes, right. So let's see what we've got here. We've got Smetana, Dvorak, and Suk violin sonatas, or music for violin and piano. With Suk, you've got the Ballade in D minor, 4 pieces for violin and piano, which are beautiful, by the way. And then you've got Smetana and Dvorak. So that's lovely to have, played by Josef Suks. So there he is. What is this now? Antonin Kubelik, piano, Memories of Bohemia. Oh, about Mother. This is really a really wonderfully beautiful, sad piece of music. Suk married Dvorak's daughter, and she died quite young. And they had a son, and she passed away. Dvorak died like the same year, or a few months later. I don't know what the order was. And so he wrote these piano pieces about Mother in 1907 in memory of his wife, to give some sense of what she was like to his young son. I mean, it's really tragic, and the music is heartbreakingly beautiful. The titles are When Mother Was a Young Girl, Once Upon a Spring, How She Sang at Night to Her Sick Child, Mother's Heart, and then Remembering. And it makes you want to cry when you hear it. You also have In the Mist by Janacek, Smetana's Memories of Bohemia in the form of polkas, which is kind of interesting, and Vítězslav Novak's Memories. It's all about memory. It's wonderful. With Antonin Kubelik, who's a wonderful pianist. This was on Dorian, the Dorian label, which was purchased by Sono Luminous. So some of that stuff is still floating around. Then we've got Azrael, the Azrael Symphony, the Angel of Death, the Suk's most famous orchestral piece, gripping and scary and heartrending. And this was the piece he wrote after the deaths of all of that stuff to exorcise the demons of grief, which he sort of managed to do, kind of. And this is with the orchestra of the Comic Opera Berlin, the Comic Opera of the Komischen Oper Berlin, under Kirill Petrenko. We all know what happened to him. Kirill Petrenko is doing quite well now in Berlin. It's an okay performance. It's good. It's not one of the best. Sorry, just ain't. Then we've got another bunch of piano works by Risto Laureala, the About Mother, Moods, and Songs of Love on Naxos. And we have, let's see, what's this one? Okay. What label is this? Well, it's Czech radio. The label is Vltava, which is like the Moldau, the river. We've got, let's see, Pohádka, Fairy Tale, which is a fabulous piece for violin and orchestra that nobody ever does, which they really should. It's quite splendid, and it's long. It's concerto length, and we should hear it more often. So we've got the Fairy Tale and Tale of a Winter's Eve Overture, and the Serenade for Strings, which is lovely. It's obviously based on, conceptually on Dvorak's. And this is with Bruno Bielczyk violin and the Czech Philarmonic under Václav Smetacek. Wow, when was this recorded? Who knows? This says 1998, but the recordings must be older. I don't think Smetacek was alive then. Anyway, here it is on this strange label. What can I tell you? I was collecting Suks, so I got it. Here's the Azrael Symphony with Libor Pesek and the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic. A very fine performance. Maybe a little bit soft-edged, just a twinge. At the end of the first movement, the bass drum is slamming and everyone's going crazy, but it's really good. So that one's there. Then we've got another Azrael with Kubelik. This is with the Bavarian Radio Symphony Orchestra. It's on Panton. It was a Bavarian radio recording. It's a wonderful performance. It really is. And it's very well recorded, too, in stereo and terrific. Absolutely terrific. There's that one. Then we've got the complete Suk piano music. I think all of it here, which has some major cycles. Things Lived and Dreamt, which is really gorgeous, and some other stuff. Moods, and just lovely things. Spring. Then there's a suite and lullabies and episodes, and they're all vignettes, character pieces, basically. But they all have that wonderful, songful, elegiac quality that his best music has. 3 discs on Superphone with Pavel Stepan piano. So that all goes there. Then we've got, the Václav Talich Azrael Symphony, which is in very good sound, considering that it's like mono and all that from 1952. Sounds really good with the Czech Philarmonic. So there's that one. That was part of that Czech Philharmonic edition. And I have duplicates of some of that stuff because I just have to. Epilog. Here is the Epilog, the tone poem, which is his last major work. After Azrael, Azrael is part of a tetralogy of tone poems. There's Azrael, then A Summer Tale, and then Ripening, and then this one, and then Epilog. And then a fairy tale. There's the fairy tale, which is the suite from Araduz and Mahulana, hula, 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 something like that. That's not the violin thing that I was talking about earlier. I'll get to the violin thing. It's in here. But fairy tale, which is quite lovely in several movements. It's great fun. I mean, it has like solo violin stuff in it, but here is A Summer Tale. Yes, with Peszek, who recorded it a couple times. I think his super fun recording is actually a little bit better. That's my favorite one. That one and the Macaris recording. They're both amazing. A Summer Tale is a masterpiece. It's a 5-movement symphonic poem whose last movement, Night, is just the most gorgeous, haunting thing in the world. I think I did a video on it in the World's Most Beautiful Melodies series. Look them up. There's a Suk playlist on this YouTube channel, by the way, and you should have a look at some of the stuff there. It's incredibly beautiful. Oh, the end of this Night. Da 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 da, ya da 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 da, da 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 da. I mean, it was amazing, just gorgeous. And this is Ripening. See, Peszek did all of these for Virgin, which is really, really cool, with the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic. And Praga, the symphonic poem. So there's this one. It's Das Reifen in German and Maturation in French. Okay. Smetana Piano Trio, Suk Piano Trio, Novak Piano Trio, with the Joachim Trio on Naxos. Wonderful works. You know, the thing about these trios, there are a lot of composers, they just wrote like one trio or some piece for piano trio that wasn't really a formal piano trio. And so it's a hard time coupling them. So these are like Czech solo trios, because Dvorak, of course, wrote 4 of them. And Martin, who also wrote a batch of them, I think 3 or something like that, or a bunch of them. So there you go. Some Czech piano trios. And we have the Azrael Symphony, the Czech Phil, Jerzy Bielohlavek on Chandos. This actually didn't impress me too much. This was a little pale next to the other ones. You know, Bielohlavek, I've said it again and again, was a gentle guy. And when it came to music that had to be like gut-wrenching and gripping and insane, he usually was not at his best. And this is one of those cases. It's not a bad performance. It's the Czech Philarmonic. How could it be? But it's a little bit undercharacterized. And the sonics, too, are a little bit diffuse. It just isn't up there in my top 20 or 30 Azraels. And then we've got another recording of A Summer Tale with A Winter's Tale, the overture. It's a nice performance with the Slovak Radio Symphony under Andrew Mogrelia. It's not as great as the ones with the Czech Phil, but I mean, the Slovak Radio Symphony knows this music, and Mogrelia conducts it well, and the sound isn't bad. And, I got all of this stuff because, things are a little different now that we have streaming. Now that we have streaming audio, technically anything could be available all the time. It isn't, but it could be. The potential's there, and I worry less than I used to, because somewhere out there you can find it on YouTube 9 times out of 10. But back in the day, I got everything I could get my hands on, because all you had was physical product, and it wasn't going to stay in print for long, especially if it was a less familiar composer. And so I got lots of this stuff. And here is, A Summer Tale, and the fantastic Scherzo, with Macaris. This is the other great Suk record on Decca, which I also have. There's also a series of these things. This is with the Czech Philarmonic. There was like a Macaris box that had this thing in it, so I put this down here in the overflow room. But it's just wonderful. And the fantastic Scherzo is fabulous. It has one of the most wonderful tunes you've ever heard in your life, and you get to hear it like 1,000 times. Ya-da-dum, ya-da-da-da-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ya-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum. Well, it sounds much better than that. So Macaris and Decca, the Czech Phil, hot stuff. Then we've got the other tone poems, Ripening, Azrael, and Epilog, everything but A Summer Tale, with Václav Neumann and the Czech Phil. These are late Neumann digital recordings, very, very good sound, excellent playing, and a really hot Azrael Symphony. This is one of the better ones. It really, really is. And this is a super fun 3-disc set, or 2-disc set. I'm so happy to have this because I don't know where it is now. I have no clue. So Neumann doing those tone poems. And here is, yay, the best, well, still for my money, the best Summer Tale. Marginally better than Macaris, maybe because I like the sound a little better. I don't know. But you get A Summer Tale and Praga, the symphonic poem with Peszek, and it's totally fabulous. And then, well, we didn't have extras of the violin thing. The violin concerto thing is the Fantasy. It's called the Fantasy in like G minor or something like that. It's for violin and orchestra that he wrote, and don't worry, it's out there. It's upstairs somewhere, but I just don't have them overflowing. There aren't that many recordings of it. It really ought to be more. It's marvelous. And then we've got his piano quartet, Opus 1, 4 pieces for violin and piano, Opus 17, and the piano quintet in G minor, Opus 8, with the Nash Ensemble on Hyperion. A lovely way to conclude this survey of overflowing Josef Suks, both the violinist and the composer himself, and the violinist, his grandson. Really a fine composer. He wasn't terribly prolific. There's not a ton of music out there, but what there is pretty special. Very serious guy whose autobiography, sad autobiography, is written into his music. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.